Hi everyone, Nicole has here. I thought I would make a video and I think it will probably be, this isn't my first, I've done some in the past, but one of many more that I will be making to share on my experiences and the lessons that I've learned along the way. What I wanted to talk about today is on a little bit of my journey and I guess the subject of self-love. So I, from the earliest time ever, remember often thinking of myself as a survivor of the things that were done to me as a very young woman and as a child. As I left those experiences, or got out of them rather, I felt that I had rid myself of those shackles, I had survived, I had gotten out of it, and it became very much a part of my identity. I think that in that mindset that I was in, and now looking back at myself and the experiences that I went through, although I was no longer in situations of receiving exterior abuse, I had in many ways become my own abuser. I went through many years, I would say actually up until quite recently, of living a lifestyle and having and subconsciously practicing self-hate in my own life. So what I mean by that, the definition, I believe, of self-hate is when a person neglects their own needs, when they lack self-compassion for themselves and their experiences and their past, when they sabotage their own success, and when they trust other people over themselves. So what that can look like is, a person who never really knows how to make a decision or is always uncertain and looking for validation or approval from others and steps that they're taking to make decisions for their career, their personal lives. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of people either. It could be just one person that you really need their approval to be doing things. Like you just have a hard time trusting your own instincts. It can be neglect of our own needs. I mean, we see that so often, but putting others always above our own selves, whether in relationships with partners or families or friends even. So I think I spent many years in that space, and essentially I think that self-hatred was the result of never addressing or healing from the situations of abuse and trauma that I had gone through. So I believe that this happens to a lot of people, where once you're removed from the situation that was hurting you, you think that everything will be okay, but that lack of internal healing means that the other person isn't hurting you anymore, the situation isn't affecting you in that way anymore, but you sort of recreate that for yourself in your own life. So the way to get out of that is self-love. Which is a process, and I know that it's something that I have been reading on social media or in articles or hearing about also for years. And I can't say that I ever thought of myself as someone who didn't love herself. I believe that I did. I don't think anyone out there reading self-love, self-care would think to themselves, yeah, no, that's not something that I'm interested in. I don't want that for my life. We all believe that we care for ourselves. But I think that we never dive deep enough into the details to really understand what self-love means, or like I described a little earlier, what self-hate is, and how we apply that in our lives. And it's understanding those details that will help us determine or understand whether we are truly practicing it for ourselves or not. So self-love, to me, just like love, is an action verb. It's number one, self-discovery. You cannot love yourself if you don't know yourself. So it's taking the time and the space and giving yourself compassion to be able to be vulnerable with yourself, to be able to be truthful with yourself, to look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge your past, your decisions, your present. Think about who you want to be. Are you currently living a life that aligns with that? You have to really dive deep. And this is not something that happens from one day to the next. I think we are all on a continuous journey of self-discovery for the most part, but a lot of us are also just oblivious. So that to me is step number one. Step number two is acting intentionally. So once you know, at the very least, who you want to be or who you are deep down, and you realize right now or in the past, I haven't been acting the way I know I really am, it's thinking about how every single action that you take aligns with those goals, with your values, with who you want to be in this world, with the legacy you want to leave behind, with the way you have decided to value yourself. It's aligning all of those actions. Through that is also the creation of boundaries. Receiving the things that you know you are worthy of, and putting clear set boundaries for the things that you will not accept, and being able to communicate when something does not sit right with you, or when a boundary is being crossed, not shying away or being afraid of communicating. And lastly, I believe for self-love is prioritizing yourself. So having the ability to discern what you require to be well rested, to be healthy emotionally and physically, to grow, to learn, to have joy in your life, and make all those things a priority above anything external that brings you validation. Because a lot of us put so much attention on external creators of gratification, but those are always quick fixes. Someone else saying I love you, someone else giving you attention, buying a bag, going on holiday. All those things feel great in the moment. No one's gonna say no to them. But if those things are more important to you, or if you are putting those things over your own creation of gratitude and joy and peace, then you'll never be in a space of contentment, because you're always going to be on edge for your next external fix. But if you create all of that for your own self, those are like pluses. Like, great, I'm so happy I'm getting all this external stuff, but I am already able to ground my own self. I already bring joy to my own self because I prioritize myself already. So for me, that sums up, what it is to love yourself. And I think that for a lot of women out there, most definitely for myself, it took me going through cycles and cycles and cycles of self-hate, which equaled pain, which equaled not respecting my own boundaries, betraying myself, until eventually I couldn't take it anymore, until eventually I was triggered or traumatized or just pushed off of the edge into realizing that something had to change, and seeking something different. A lot of that for myself also came through faith and turning to God to help me with all of my burdens. And I think that a lot of us go through it, and it's our journey, and it's okay. And I'm happy that at the very least, through all that pain, it can lead to a good place. But the reality is that once you get to self-love after going through all of that, you get there, albeit maybe healed from the wounds, but you are still scarred. You arrive to that place with scars all over your body from all of those painful experiences, and no matter how much work you do, no matter how much you learn, you still have to manage those scars. They never go away. And that is a burden to bear. And so I would like to help women who are in those cycles of pain get out of them, just as I did. But even more, what would make me even happier is if sharing my knowledge could help more women gain all these lessons without having to bear the scars that come with them, so that their proof of having learned these lessons is only their successes, not the scars. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to share for today. I hope that these videos will be informative. I hope you enjoy them. Please comment, share if you have anything to say. I do also have a page for life coaching. So this is not therapy, this is not counseling, this is really coaching to help in reaching goals, to help in setting boundaries, or having a plan set out for specific situations you want to get into or out of in your life. I also have some extensive years of HR experience, so I can help with career-related goals as well. So definitely reach out, and I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks for listening in.